Hello everyone, this is Lee Wright, author and creator of the Grand Mystics Saga. Check out my radio interview on WBRT Hometown Mornings with Ryan Hack. It was awesome.
WBRT.
And good Thursday morning. It is the 19th of March, just 5 after 8 o'clock here on WBRT, your Hometown Mornings Overtime Edition. My name is Ryan Hack, and I am joined in studio today by a local author by the name of Lee Wright. And, well, he's here to not only talk to us about these books and about some events he'll be at to, I guess, tell you more there as well, but we're just going to get started here and figure out how it is that somebody can so quickly conjure up at least 5 different books about one story here. Let's just start off. Thanks for being in the studio with us today. Is this your first time being on the air?
Yes, thanks for having me. It's my first interview on air. I've done an interview online on Zoom before, but this is my first live interview.
Yeah, being, on camera or on a microphone isn't necessarily strange to you, because not only do you do a bit of writing, but you also do a little bit of other online stuff as well.
Yes, I got several YouTube channels, and I'm on TikTok. I'm on social media everywhere. I got my newest YouTube channel that's doing the best is the Soldiers of Truth on YouTube. It's doing really well. It's shorts about science fiction and stuff like that.
So where are you from?
I'm from Bardstown, right here in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Gotcha. So again, local, as I said, and about as local as you can get.
Yeah, born and raised.
So you having grown up here in Bardstown, leading up to writing this book series here, which the first of which is the Grand Mystics Saga, the Emerald Scepter of Light, Part 1. Where was, I guess, where did the inspiration begin for a story like this?
So when I was 15 years old, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I was the dungeon master, so I run the game. I was the one that created the storyline, I created the enemies, and I was the one that controlled the whole game and how the players played. Mm-hmm. And we played for 20 years, me and the same group of people.
Yeah.
And so I had this storyline that developed for over 20 years. So one day, it was about 2009, I started writing. I just said one day, I'm going to take our story that we've been doing all these years, and I'm going to write a book about it. And so that's how it began, with just one, and now it's turned into about 5.
And so you all were playing a tabletop game, and then you already had the story right there, so
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, see, when you play D&D, you can create your own storyline, or you can go with a pre-written
one
storyline.
That comes in a book.
But I chose my own. And so I created my own world. By the time, I have a complete map of the world. We've been playing for 20 years.
Right.
So I have a lot of material to write with right there.
When you got a hobby like that you've been doing so long, and then you decide you're going to tell a story about it, there's plenty of material to work with.
Yeah, and I love the game. I'm a big nerd at heart. I am. Proud of it too.
This series here, so it's the series itself is the Grand Mystics Saga.
Yes, so it's called the Grand Mystics Saga. It's going to be 5 books. Book 1, the Emerald Scepter of Light, Part 1, is published through Newman Springs Publishing outside of New York and New Jersey. They're right across the bridge. But really good group of guys there. They did an excellent job with the book. So, and then book 2 is in editing right now. I've almost finished the editing on it, and hopefully, with some good luck, it'll be out before the end of the year.
Gotcha. Okay. So, you said you started kind of this process of taking what had been a hobby for you for a long time and translating it into a book that people could buy off the shelves here. And you're now, again, hoping to get the second one out by the end of the year here. What is the Grand Mystics Saga? If somebody is going into this, should they, some people maybe their understanding of fantasy is Game of Thrones or The Lord of the Rings. So
mine is kind of science. Okay, so mine is like Lord of the Rings, but more science fiction. Like gotcha. More... It's almost like they're in a world, in today's world, but with magic.
Okay.
And it's basically about these five people that are summoned by there's these 3 ancient sentient beings called the Grand Mystics of Ire. Mm-hmm. And they were created by the Creator at the beginning of time for the sole purpose of maintaining magic in the land, the balance of magic, good and evil. And so they hibernate for thousands of years unless that balance is disrupted to the point where the world is in danger, they sleep, but now they're awake. And so that's where the story begins.
Gotcha. So very clearly something is wrong, things are out of balance.
Yeah. And there's this dark wizard, his name is Cyrus Mandolin, and he has obtained an ancient book of magic called the Simvac. And it's actually an ancient druid spell book of dark magic. And he's an evil wizard, so of course that's his thing. So he starts learning how to translate this book and casting spells. And that's disrupted the whole... And he's forming an alliance with the dark elves of the world and all the dark nations, and that's what they're called, the Dark Alliance.
And so you have in this series here somebody who is... grasping at power that they probably shouldn't mess with for bad intentions.
Yeah, well, he proclaims himself the emperor of all the world, and any nation that does not bow down to him will be destroyed by his army and his magic. So that's where its war has begun, basically, against the good races of the land and the dark races.
I can imagine that, somebody saying all nations must bow down or be destroyed kind of puts whoever these prospective heroes might be in a pinch,
Yeah. Well, then the Grand Mystics of Ire, they have summoned those 5 warriors. One of the Grand Mystics has summoned 5 warriors. There's still 2 more, but they don't come till later on down the line in the other books.
So it's still a bit of a mystery what's going on there.
The first book and second book is called the Emerald Scepter of Light. Okay, so part 1 and part 2. And it's all about the first Grand Mystic and her mystical weapon known as the Emerald Scepter of Light.
Okay.
Now in books 3 and 4, they will be called the Sword of the Ages, part 1 and part 2. And so that's going to be all about the second Grand Mystic of Ire summoning her guardians to come and get her weapon. And then the last book's the Dragon's Tear, and it's going to be all about the third and the final battle and the war against the Dark Wizard.
Okay, so these stories here that you're putting together, obviously, they seem to not just take, I suppose, inspiration from pre-existing fantasy, but definitely builds upon it. Not only that, but usually stories like these, fantasy and sci-fi, they tend not just to be about, spells and, warriors, but there's usually something else going on between the lines.
And see, that was what was so good about using my Dungeons and Dragons game, because I got everybody's perspective in the group as we was playing. See, it's our characters that are in the book. So they've even come up to me and been like, are you going to put this battle in there? Are you going to do this? Are you going to, and they read it and they're reading their characters and their story that we played all these years. So it's really given me a lot of background into making a really detailed story.
Rather than it just being a thing that you've, kind of tasked yourself with coming up with all by yourself, it was more so a thing that you and your friends all as a group kind of contributed to in order to make it not just, kind of cut and dry as it is on the paper, but with all these different, I guess, backgrounds and details that really make it, make these characters really feel like people.
And the good thing is I remember that stuff, so when I'm writing, it's all in my head. Like, I even know how the book's going to end, how it's all going to end, but I just have to get it onto paper.
Gotcha.
That's kind of like the process, and I put my heart and soul into every page that I write, because I don't even type my work, I write it, just because...
Right.
I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about my books, and as you can tell, I got several book signings coming up from that. Yeah,
you've got several different events that you're going to be at here in the local area, all within like an hour or two's drive here over the course of the next couple of months. And at these events, well, I guess, what can folks expect?
So I'll be there'll be copies to buy and get autographed, and then I'm going to do a question and answer session, hopefully. At most of the events, there's one event that I don't have the space to do that, but all the Barnes & Noble events coming up, I will be doing a question and answer and a sneak peek read of like the first 2 chapters of book 2.
Gotcha. Okay, so not only can folks go there, they can have access to the books, they can have access to you, but also maybe a little bit of a preview of what might be to come.
Yeah, like a preview of a couple chapters, sneak peek.
So what events are you going to be at here over the course of the next month or so?
Okay, so starting not this Saturday, but next Saturday, March 28th, I'll be at the Barnes & Noble in Elizabethtown on 1980 North Dixie Highway. That's at the mall there by Best Buy. And then it's going to be every Saturday in April after that. Saturday, April 4th, I'm going to be at the shops at Plainview, Barnes & Noble on South Hurstbourne Parkway in Louisville, Kentucky. Saturday, April 11th, I'm really excited about. I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I got a booth set up there, and I'm going to be signing books and stuff.
Which is a big deal, being at Comic-Con as an author. Which you had mentioned this to me before we went on air here, that there's another famous author who had kind of gotten their start promoting their work at Comic-Cons.
Yeah, so George R.R. Martin, I heard him do an interview on YouTube one time, and he said that that's how he really got his start, was following Comic-Con around the country, especially the big ones like L.A. and New York, and that's my goal for the future.
Gotcha. Not only that, you're also going to be heading down towards Bowling Green at some point for an event as well, right?
Yep, and I also have one confirmed in July, but we haven't set a date yet in Nashville. I'm actually but it's going to be like a group authors thing. There's going to be like 7 or 8 local authors that are there on the same day. But that's in Nashville at the Murfreesboro store, so I just haven't got the date for that yet. So,
which is a pretty big deal. Nashville is...
Yeah, I'm excited about that one for sure.
It's a hive of activity, which is very promising. What's the, I guess, process been like for you from... obviously, the hardest part about writing a book, as far as I understand it, is, or as our own Ned Johnson has said, is placing rear in chair to actually get the writing done.
Yeah, I try to write a little bit every day. I'm always on my computer because, especially, I'm really passionate about my new YouTube channels as well. So I'm a content creator, so I'm constantly working on my content for my channel. I just released a video on Medusa on my channel, and then I did one on the 7 ancient wonders of the world, and then I did one on the legendary King Solomon. So, it's kind of like science fiction.
There's a whole range of topics.
Oh, yeah, stuff that people really want to hear about and read about.
Let's talk about that, your YouTube channel, which is something you've been doing a little more recently compared to the writing?
Yeah, I just actually, my newest channel is about 3 months old, and I'm at almost 7,000 views with especially the shorts, the YouTube shorts. They seem to be doing really well.
Very well.
Yeah, so, and I concentrate on the shorts more than I do the long form video for that reason, because my audience.
I took a peek at your channel to get an idea, and yeah, I think what you said there, again, it's like you've got a bit of history, you've got a bit of science fiction, sort of definitely a mystery sort of thing. It felt like, as some of them felt like, turning on the History Channel after dark. And
yeah, that's kind of what it is. I've done a lot of research over my life. I love that kind of stuff, and so I'm trying to just stuff that people are interested in. I want to talk about it.
Some shorter videos that kind of give in brief on some different topics.
Like the 7 Wonders of the World was awesome to research because I had no idea what they were until I researched them, and then it's like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon and the Colossus of Rhodes and the giant statue that was in the bay, and then so I just learned a lot just from doing the channels myself, and I like sharing with the world.
Gotcha. You got this curiosity, and you figure, if you're going to do some research, why not take what you've learned and then put that out there as something that folks can watch. And with those shorts, it's not necessarily a commitment to sit down and watch an hour-long episode special about something. It's a very short-form content, they call it.
They say that the attention span is not so great nowadays, and so you make your videos shorter, people want to watch them. You don't want to just keep rambling on.
Yeah, that's definitely, I guess, not just nowadays, but, perhaps it's a thing that folks' attention spans maybe were not necessarily bad as much as they were vulnerable to being what's the word? Not taken advantage of. Maybe taken advantage of is the word. But when things had been, I guess, slower for a time, and
I'm constantly scrolling.
Yeah, it's it can be an addiction. I've had to myself. I have a limit on what is available on my cellular device, so that doesn't happen to me as much. But it's different things you might find on there, because you might find some news headlines that are very clearly made to just agitate you or get you to. They say that content that makes you angry or upsets you is actually some of the most engaging, in the sense that it provokes you to keep on scrolling. But it's always nice, though, when you can go online and you see something that isn't terrible like that, such as, again, something you might not have known before.
I kind of try to put a little comedy into it as well, make it funny, instead of just, rambling on
instead
about
of
facts.
Being dry.
Yeah, and, I try to give people a look at what the stuff actually looked like. Using everything that I've done on my YouTube channel on Soldiers of Truth is with artificial intelligence. So,
Gotcha.
all the characters, all the script. Well, I wrote the script myself, but then all the characters, the voices, the videos, everything's done. And I actually just use Grok AI on everything.
So you basically create the script, you create the script for it, and then the AI produces the stuff in the video.
Right, yeah. The only thing I don't use AI for is the script, because AI writes some junky, terrible stuff. So I write the script myself, and then I'll start doing, and then I'll go to one program that I have and do the voice. And then I'll do the avatar. And then I'll do the videos for the footage.
So again, this YouTube channel, the Soldiers of Truth, and is this the only bit of YouTube stuff that you've got working on?
No, I actually just started another channel a couple of days ago. It's called The Mystic Road for You, and it's linked to my Soldiers of Truth channel, and it's going to be just all about my book signings and events coming up, and it's like follow Lee Wright on his journey.
Gotcha.
Basically, and I'm also on X. To Twitter, really big. I love Twitter and all the time.
Gotcha. So, and they can find you under what handle on Twitter there?
On Twitter, it's capital Lee or capital L Wright with a capital W, 16508.
Gotcha. And there, what sort of things could folks expect keeping up with you on there?
Just everything. Like I'm constantly like I said, I advertise. I almost advertise for free for Grok AI, because Grok's awesome. He's like my personal assistant. I use him for everything. And so I'm always posting on Twitter, and Elon Musk is actually, I got all the Tesla management team and everybody, they follow me and stuff on there. Just because I'm constantly saying, I love Grok AI.
Gotcha.
But I do, because it's everything that like I said, for that channel is all artificial intelligence. So and it's really hard to create that stuff. I spend a lot of time creating my videos.
Video production, in any sense. I suppose if you're using a tool that does the video for you, I guess you still have to have some sense of what you would want it to make.
Well, it's like
that script.
Like Grok AI produces 10-second video clips. So if my video is 5 minutes long, then I have to create 10-second video clips to tell the story. I create the video clips to tell the story that I'm of. Like Jesus and Lazarus, I did a video about how he raised Lazarus from the dead, and I showed the whole story like it was actually there.
Gotcha. Okay.
And like you said, kind of like a history mixed with fantasy and
right. You've got different, because you were talking about Medusa. You were also talking about there were some other things I saw there that I'm blanking on, but it was a wide range, and that was, I guess, what it surprised me was what seemed like the range of topics that was being talked about.
And so the best thing about the Soldiers of Truth, and anyone's welcome to do this, is if they want to share their story with me and share their story with the world, then they can send their video to me at the Soldiers of Truth 247@gmail.com. And give me a little contact information, and I'll work with them to create a video and post their video. Gotcha. And they can become a Soldier of Truth. See, that's the whole point of it, is to get the whole world's view on all these topics. and
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah, more than just yourself, but sort of creating a.
And I'm shooting for a live podcast eventually, but I haven't made it that far with it yet. But it's still a couple months old. It's only a couple months old, so I got to get more viewers going. But yeah, so that's I got. So can I plug my other 2 book signings?
Oh yeah. What else you got going on?
I got on Saturday, April the 18th, I'm going to be at the Barnes & Noble on Campbell Lane in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then Saturday, April the 25th, I'm going to be at Joseph Beth Booksellers in Lexington, and that's at 161 Lexington Green Circle Road.
All these different events in the area folks can again keep up with. If they say, forget, where's he going to be at this date, they can find that on your Twitter.
Yeah, or my YouTube channel too. I advertise for my events on there as well, but Twitter especially, on my Twitter.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're going to step away here for a commercial break. Again, we've got Lee Wright here in the studio with us, talking some about not only his upcoming, I suppose he'll have his second book upcoming here, hopefully by the end of this year. Also lots of different events he's going to be at to talk about that first one. It is the Grand Mystics Saga, the Emerald Scepter of Light, Part 1. Not only that, but also some different stuff on YouTube as well. We'll be back here in just a little bit. We're going to kick it to Larry Vaught for Vaught's Views here and be back here shortly. It's the overtime edition of Hometown Mornings on WBRT.
WBRT.
It is 8:31 here this Thursday morning. It's the 19th of March. Sunshine coming down here in Bardstown. It is Hometown Mornings Overtime Edition. My name is Ryan Hack, joined here in studio again by Lee Wright, who is the author of the Grand Mystics Saga. Of course, the Emerald Scepter of Light Part 1 is out, and hopefully that next one going to be coming out later this year. First off, where can folks find your works?
You can get a copy at Barnes & Noble, obviously, Amazon.com, Reader House, and it's also available on ebook on Apple Books.
Gotcha. Okay. Lots of different places, really, I guess, where folks can find all sorts of different books. They can find yours there as well. And should they, I guess, look for your name, and again, the Grand Mystics Saga is what they should look
if you
for.
Search for it, just search for the Grand Mystics Saga, and it'll pop up.
Gotcha. So, again, this is... not just simple fantasy, but I guess I want to ask you, what can folks expect here if they pick up your book and they crack it open? What's lying in wait for them?
A lot of magic. I noticed, like on the Lord of the Rings, like the movies especially, they didn't do a whole lot of magic. It seemed like to me. Mine is full of magic. It's all magical creatures and. Could I do a reading of the book on the back of the book cover?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
This is from the back of the cover, right?
Yeah, this is the back of the cover of the book. Deep in his secret underground chambers, the dark wizard Cyrus Mandolin studies his most beloved and prized treasure, the ancient tome known as the Simvac. Centuries old, this book of dark magic has been the cause of violent bloodshed and world wars ever since its creation by the ancient Druid order from the dawn of time. It had taken Cyrus years to learn how to translate the forgotten language in which it had been written, but now he has finally found a way, and the magic that he would soon possess would make him the most powerful man alive. In Minion City, the young sorcerer Mordain has been summoned to a secret meeting by none other than King Henry III himself. This meeting would bring together a team consisting of the most powerful mages and experienced fighters the world has ever seen. Once united, they learn that they have been called together by these ancient sentient beings known as the Grand Mystics Saga. The strange thing is that no one seems to know anything about these Grand Mystics, only that they are asking Mordain and the others to come to their aid. Whispers of war, high treason against the monarchs of the land, give birth to violent conflicts and deadly confrontations. Entire races of creatures have been transformed into undead, vicious monsters, bent on killing and destroying everything in their path. It seems that no matter where they turn, dark magic is taking control, and no one seems to know who can be trusted.
Not just fantasy, not just magic, but intrigue and stakes as well. These characters are not just going on some jaunt, to cast a few spells and have a little bit of fun, but to protect the world that they live in.
Yeah, so they're going to meet the Grand Mystics of Ire, and they find out that there's this magical weapon called the Emerald Scepter of Light that the Grand Mystic has created herself. And she has chosen her champion, but I don't want to give a spoiler, but she's chosen her champion to come to her and go seek out the weapon.
Which is, again, for the namesake of the first book, The Emerald Scepter of Light, Part 1.
Yes.
Which, again, folks can find where?
Barnes & Noble. It's on Amazon.com, ReaderHouse.com, and it's on eBooks, Apple Books.
Is there anything else you want to, mention there in regards to events you might have coming up, things like that?
Like I said, the events that I read today are just the ones that I have for April. So I have a bunch coming up in May, and have some coming up all summer long. I'm going to be busy this summer, hopefully reaching out everywhere as I can.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of different, libraries and bookstores around that they have events like this, and so I guess if you're trying to cover as many as you can, you'll be running all over the place.
Yeah, that's my goal, is to get my books into as many hands as I can, so people can enjoy their story as much as I do.
What I find so interesting is that this is something that is based upon games, Dungeons and Dragons, that you and your friends did for years there. I'm going to ask you this. Did you see, I don't know if it was a few years ago, the D&D Honor Among Thieves movie that was in theater?
Absolutely, I saw it.
What surprised me about that was, and I swear I heard this somewhere, that in making the movie, they actually had played some, played some D&D as the characters they were going to be playing. And the movie itself definitely felt like you were just watching an adaptation of someone's
and it was
game.
really funny too. It was a comedy,
which is
and I loved that. That was
very
awesome.
much, I guess, how I'd say probably a good deal of people's experience with tabletop games.
I saw online. I saw the cast of Stranger Things playing Dungeons and Dragons. They had a whole video thing of where they were playing Dungeons and Dragons and
I know
how it's played.
I've not watched Stranger Things, but I'd heard that's a big deal in the show.
Yeah, that's a big part of it is Dungeons and Dragons. That's how.
Which is so interesting to me that for not just, evidently, books and movies and TV, that a tabletop game like that can be such a groundwork for the inspiration there. It's not that you're playing the game and then just, say, making a movie about a video game, but you're making something based off of your own engagement with really not just, a pre-existing bit of fantasy, but rather, really kind of Dungeons and Dragons.
Over the years, like when we was playing D&D, I incorporate, because I'm such an avid fantasy fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like my stuff has taken everything and combined it into one, because I'm a big time Skyrim fan, and I'm also really big into like I said, Stranger Things and that. So any kind of fantasy, you ever heard of Final Fantasy on?
Yeah. It's
okay,
a famous video game series.
I actually kind of borrowed the summoner. One of my characters is a summoner, and he can summon guardians to battle with him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just really science fiction mixed with fantasy.
It's a whole hodgepodge of different concepts and ideas.
It's huge because it's 5 books, so it's really hard to sit here and just talk about every detail of it. But everybody that's ever read my book and have commented to me said that they loved it and that I'm an excellent writer, and they said that they didn't put it down until they finished it. So it's a really good read. I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I do.
I've got one last question for you about these characters. You'd mentioned these are characters that your friends had played. Were they? How did they feel about your portrayal of these characters?
Actually, they love the idea that their characters are in a story or in a book, and they're always calling me or coming up to me and being like, "Hey, are you going to put this one battle that we did in the story?" And and just and it's really good to have good friends that I've had all these years that I've been able to walk through this with, and they're really proud of what I've done, and they're proud that they helped me in that aspect.
It's, it's remarkable from what was, probably at one point just kind of a hobby that you guys did now and again. And especially with time, you realize that getting a group of 5 or 6 people together to do something can, scheduling can be a nightmare.
Oh, it was easy when we was kids. When we was 15, we was together all the time.
Right.
And then as we got older, we kind of just, everybody went their different ways, and it's just, I don't really play it much anymore. I'd love to sometime, but we don't have the group anymore, but 20 years is a long time.
But this is, I guess, a way that you've kind of connected with what you guys used to do there, which is remarkable that it's gone from that to being a book that was out of a publisher up towards New York with, this one right here, it looks just like something, you're going to find on the shelves there in the best way possible, because those types of titles, I know when I was, younger was really when I would go to libraries because I guess I had a little more time.
Yeah,
to read
it's young adult. It's young adult fiction and adult too. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it jumps out to me as something. It looks like. It doesn't look like a book that I read in the past in a bad way. It looks like it in a way of like, oh, I know that's going to be, that's going to grab my attention.
Yeah. Well, they did Newman Springs Publishing did a really good job with the cover art and stuff. I really loved it. I had a pretty good experience with them all the way through. They was, respectable, and I would recommend them for any unpublished author.
Well, I do believe we are coming up towards the end of our time here, but I want to thank you once again for stopping into the studio and chatting with us here this morning.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, man. It was nice meeting you, and I appreciate you having me in.
And, if you've got more events coming up, who knows, we may hear from you again sometime in the future.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep in touch.
And we'll see if we can get our very own Ned Johnson in as well. You speak author to author, which...
I would love doing something like that.
It would certainly be interesting, to say the least. Ned will be joining us tomorrow here for the overtime edition of Hometown Mornings on WBRT. We've got Radio Bingo coming up here in just a little bit. We'll be on the red bingo cards this morning, and you've got the Leach Report coming at 9 o'clock. Stick around. Again, it is WBRT, your hometown radio station.
Thanks for tuning in to The Mystic Road for You. I'm Lee Wright, author and creator of the Grand Mystics Saga. Get your copy of the Emerald Scepter of Light Part 1 at Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, Reader House, and ebook Apple Books. Check out my YouTube channel at The Soldiers of Truth too. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell. We'll see you next time.